Michael, it's really good to be in the studio once again.
It is.
It is. And doing the show to help businesses and giving them some content, because I want to answer a question today as we have a conversation, is this statement: should I stick it out or should I call it quits?
Should I stay or should I go?
Yes.
Sounds like a song, John.
Yes. Why don't no, it doesn't come. No, it doesn't work.
Come, that one. Okay.
But it happens, doesn't it, in business, that we get to points in our world where we simply say, this is just too hard. And, finances might be running out, or there might be new contracts not happened, or people fall through the gaps, or a staff person leaves, the key person that you've really relied on leaves.
New sales just aren't.
Yeah, that's right. So should I quit or should I keep going?
Yeah.
And what I want to do is kind of touch on, 7, let's call them 7 keep goings.
Right, okay. 7 keep going.
So that way, this is helpful for us to kind of imagine, if I remember even 1, 2 or 3 of them that really stick for a business where they are at right now, I think that could be really good fun, because we want to help businesses do it better, and we're answering that question for them today and giving them some principles that will, if I stay passionate, which is my first one.
Your first one?
And this is how we often start business, don't we?
Do you find sometimes we've been in business for a little while, sales may have been sluggish, or people may have got some complaints?
Yes, complaints, yes.
Do you think passion is one of the first things we start to suffer, or the loss of passion seems to be the first thing we start to suffer from?
I've done a lot of startups, and they're really passionate. So like this week, I have met 2 microbiologists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really interesting. And they're young guys at university.
Yeah.
So the university thing of how YouTube started and those things, and how Microsoft started in garages. Well, these 2 young guys remind me of that, and they actually want to build a power station in the northwest of our great state of Western Australia.
Wow.
And they've got all sorts of ideas. And I'm just thinking, I'm so excited.
Yes.
And they've got this passion. You see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
And I then talked to one of my other clients this week who is a micromanager. And we're trying to move him into macro and leave the micro to delegate.
Right.
And you can see it's hard work. I've got to do this. It's that same passion.
Yes.
There's a different intensity about what goes on. So it really can dissipate.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when I'm coaching, I'm actually helping them renew their passion, renew their motivation, renew their interest, and spark it once again, and help. We can do this.
When you do that, to reignite the passion, so we remember it. But you do. I can't remember what you call this. It's something to do with stepping into the future. I know this is part number 2 of this.
Yes. Yeah.
Is this the step, you can describe better than me, that gets that passion refined, remembered, basically?
It's interesting, because you can't just turn passion on.
No.
At all. And sometimes it really does take me time in having conversations. And I've got a solar business, and I can see it in his eyes. He's passionate, and he's got dreams. Where a couple of years ago, when I first started working with him, after 2 sessions, he said, should I keep going with the coaching? Which was really interesting. And now, that's not even on our agenda, because he's growing.
Okay.
And the systems are working.
Yeah.
And I can see it in his eyes. So it takes time to help people reignite that passion, because over time it's dissipated.
So when you talk about what's this future thing you do with them? You talk about this as being one of the things, going to the future or something. You mentioned it to me before.
Yeah, I want people to actually work on how they view their future. Because this is often the vision statement.
Yeah.
Your preferred future, and imagining what that actually looks like. And I love helping people do that, because it really is important. So the dynamic of being helpful, of engaging what the preferred future actually looks like.
Okay, so it's basically becoming your future self. You see what you're going to become, and so that's...
So I did it last night with a group of people.
Yeah.
And so what we did was, I was doing a small group kind of workshop with them, and we felt like, because this is going to go over 10 weeks, so the initial thing is they got a card, a 5x3 card, and an envelope and a pen. And what they had to do was to describe their preferred self that they're looking to see themselves become in 10 weeks' time, or it's about 18 weeks' time, because we're doing it fortnightly.
Okay.
And it really is interesting. So they've been sealed up, and we've got those cards.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And so they've described, because everybody has it in them, this picture of this future that they know, this future self, this future business dynamic, and it really is interesting. And so, and I watched them write, they were writing it straight away. There was no difficulty in them understanding, because people think about it all the time, and they do this, if only I could. One day, maybe, I have a dream to be, and it sits in there. And all we sometimes need to do is give them that helpful hint. And they wrote it down. You know, only one person took it away who wanted more time. That's okay. But the majority out of, 19 people out of 20 did it immediately. You know, I was almost flabbergasted, as that was really easy.
Yeah.
But I know it's true because we have it sitting inside of us, all of us do.
You mentioned that word helpful a couple of times in there. How important is that in keeping going?
Helpful is really interesting because it's giving yourself away to others. And sometimes we think by withholding, keeping our information, keeping our IP, protecting our interests and not revealing confidentialities.
They didn't pay for that,
We think that is the strategy. And there is a principle, those who withhold tend to poverty. You lose when you don't give. And by being helpful to those around and about you, and it might not mean that you're giving them more money, more sales, better car, better phone. It's not about that. It's a spirit of helpfulness. You might drive them home, or you might buy some groceries, or you might give them some time off. Not time in lieu or anything, no other conditions. You're just being helpful. You got a crisis, hey, in our business, we are helpful.
Yes.
And you do that, and the power of doing that releases amazing internal chemistry that does you good, but it also releases internal chemistry in them, does them good, and think, oh, that was good, and that was unexpected. And the power of helpfulness is quite really neat to do.
I think that's an integral part of most people. People love to be helpful.
Yes, they do.
Do you find that when you're struggling in business, so we tend to go internally, don't we? We tend to go, how do I help myself? But if you're saying if you can external it, and you can go outside of yourself and see how you can help somebody else, it will help you reciprocal.
And what you're doing is you're using your skills and your personality that you have, and you're giving that away to help that person with their skills and their personality that you don't have, and helping them flourish in their world.
When you do that, I'm imagining that would then, if you're losing your passion or you're losing your self-worth sometimes in this, when you're helping someone else, you see them grow. Does that have that effect then of going, I do have value, reaffirms that you actually got value and get you past some of those stumbling blocks?
It's because you impact, and you can see fairly dramatic change in those around you when you have that attitude, because we stop doing it. When we're having that question, should I keep going, or We've
should I
stopped
not?
being helpful. We've stopped thinking of others. We've stopped being gregarious. We've stopped being generous. We've stopped giving away. You know, when we first start business, we have all these giveaway ideas
We do.
about how can we give this away because we're looking for clients, and we stop those principles.
Yeah.
And we forget what's worked, and we're trying new stuff and new ideas, and we've read the latest article and we should do that. And, you know, I know in business, it's not about new, it's about being consistent. Turning up every day, doing the same things over and over again can seem to be boring, but that's a mindset shift. The power of consistency, I really love this word.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's one of the most powerful words that we can have in business for ourselves when we're asking this question, should I quit or should I keep going? The consistency dynamic of getting up in the morning, dealing with what you need to deal with, and doing it on a regular basis is incredibly powerful and incredibly liberating, because you know, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
How do you climb Mount Everest? One step at a time.
Yeah.
And the hardest bit, so
Yep.
this question, should I quit, should I keep going,
Yep.
is the last 100 meters of Mount Everest, and more people have died on their way down than on their way up. So you can get up there,
Yeah.
and lots of people have done it now, but you then go, no, you've got to be consistent. I've got to use the same principles I got up, the same principles I've got to get down, because once you get past that 100 meters, you then, I've done that. And you then just put into what you know works, and it turns up, and you kick the goals, and you make the habits, and you bring the change, and it lifts you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It doesn't mean that sales will come in. It doesn't mean everybody's going to behave. It doesn't mean complaints are going to stop. It doesn't mean the problems have run away. It just means you own your space and understand, no, keeping going. This is a keeping going principle, and the power of that is, it's amazing.
It's amazing. Keeping going. We're
Yeah.
going to take a break.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And then we're going to keep going.
I want to keep going. I really do.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.